up right and swings the left. What a goal by Davy Rogers!
Not one person in this stadium seen this goal.
You can see the guards behind the goal at the main stand. They will be investigating Shelbourne for robbery. They have absolutely mugged Trinity United here at Tottenham.
Roberts find the goal! Harry Wood, the jersey's off. 6 minutes to go. Look at the back one! What a goal that is!
Hi folks, and welcome to another LOI Talk. Are you able to hear me, Cornell? Yeah, okay. You are my sound checker. Yeah, thank you. Thanks folks for joining today. Usually we do these things on Thursday, but I'm traveling and I'm actually coming back to the Emerald on Thursday. So I decided to be on the safe side to set it up on Tuesday. I haven't really followed up what's going on in League of Ireland, but it's not a problem because the expert is here with me. So he give me his views on what happened and what is on the pipeline. So I'm very keen to hear your insights, Cornell. So if you enjoy this kind of conversation, stay around for the next hour or so. If you know someone who is into the League of Ireland and is not aware of this podcast, please share. And if you have been enjoying what we do, please give us a thumbs up. It will be very, very helpful to distribute the content. So thanks, Cornell, for the flexibility to join me on Tuesday.
Yes, thank you very much for having me back on the podcast show. It's an absolute honor.
Good stuff. Let's jump into the games because there's a lot of action. It was not only last Friday, it was Friday and Monday, and there is the upcoming Friday as well. So we need to touch base in all of those fantastic games. We will start with this one. Pats, they beat Galway 2-0 in Inchicore.
Oh, this was a brilliant game to watch. St. Pat's being on the best of form that they are. We saw the return of Aidan McKenna after 12 weeks out, which was a massive boost, but obviously he had to be put on as a sub. Galway United again, the team that obviously I've always rated, and the job that John Garfield has done, has been absolutely fantastic. But St. Patrick's was just too good for Galway, despite that Galway had more of the possession and more of the ball in the first half. But look, St. Pat's do what they always do, and that is have the quality and the squad depth that they are, and that's the reason why they are competing in the title race and why they are where they are. So I think this is a fantastic win for St. Pat's and, a disappointing loss for Galway United.
Now, and a very interesting one. Bohemians, they lost at home to Waterford. It was right before, I think they changed manager, if I'm not mistaken. And Bohemians were going on a very good phase until this game. So I think that came across as a shock for many people.
Yeah, I think it was a massive shock, this one, because we were expecting Bohemians to go into this game and go on and win and win the 3 points, but because Waterford have been through not a very sticky spell this season with 6 defeats that they had under Keith Long, and he was replaced, and then Matty Lawler's in right now. He is basically turned Waterford around with 2 wins. So this is what Waterford do, and they needed to get back on track. And I got to be honest, Obolenka's goal absolutely has to be goal of the season. I'm sorry, that has to be goal of the season. Absolutely, wicked goal, wicked shot on target, and brilliant finish. That's definitely goal of the season in the League of Ireland. But yeah, I think it's a fantastic win. Bohemians had more of the ball, had more possession. They were coming in from 2 amazing results, and they wanted to get another result, a third result, but it wasn't meant to be. But Waterford showed the quality and the class that they are, and why the reason they are where they are, in the table, and then obviously to pull away from the playoffs, relegation places, because I expected Waterford to really respond, and they did, and they showed the response that all League of Ireland fans were waiting for, and the fantastic job that Matt Lawler has done. It shows that he deserves a lot of respect and a lot of a round of applause.
Yeah, A team that is in a very good phase is Derry. All of a sudden they're going up. They seem unstoppable, and that was a fantastic result against the current champions.
It was Derry City, a team that has been badly criticised for their experienced team of players that they added during the winter window. Derry City, who's been trying to get back to their best since Rory Higgins has actually come in, and he wasn't his best job last season, to be honest. And then Tian Lynch coming in and trying to get used to the League of Ireland and how it works. And from since then, I think they've really got used to how he likes playing, style of play, formation, and how he likes to set up and line up. And we're seeing the very best of Liam Boyce. Liam Boyce, a player that has been killing it in the Scottish Premier League, for his club, Hearts. And, right now, it took him a while for him to get used to the League of Ireland, because I think when you come from a different league, it is very, very difficult. But when you start, adapting and you're adapting to the manager, head coaches, playing methods and style of play that how he or she wants to play, then you start getting used to it. But it's an amazing result for Derry City. But Shelbourne, this is Damien Duff we're talking about here. We're talking about Shelbourne, who won the title last season and ended the 15-year wait last season. Played outstanding football despite they were questioned last season of certain players that they had and that went their separate ways. Now we're seeing, Shelbourne crumble, and we're seeing, bad performances and not so good. Why are we not seeing, we're seeing Odebeko play, but we're not seeing Boyd play? We're seeing Boyd being left on the bench. Why is Boyd on the bench? Boyd is supposed to be playing. No disrespect towards Harry Wood. Harry Wood has been in decent wicked form this season and from last season as well, and he's really taken our board. But I want to see Damien Duff play Sean Boyd, because we've been crying out for Sean Boyd and basically Odebeko to play, and then obviously play Harry Wood as a free. Damien Duff can do that, but it's about when I said that Damien Duff is a winning manager with a winning mentality. They are supposed to go into certain games with a winning mentality and show the whole world, including the whole of the League of Ireland fans, that they can still carry on challenging for the League of Ireland title, which I believe they will. And I think they'll strengthen in the summer, because they need strengthening in the summer. Because, look, Odebeko is scoring goals for fun, but we're not seeing enough of that. We're not seeing the Boyd link up with Odebeko. But look, this was a brilliant result for them, for Derry, and they got the job done, and they're showing that that they can be a team that no one doesn't want to be playing. It's a little bit too early to basically commit them as title contenders. If they can carry on the positive form, then I do believe that they could be title contenders.
Now we had a meeting between the team at the top, and the team at the bottom. And the team at the bottom managed to secure a draw. Sligo and Drogheda, 2-2.
Yeah, this was a tough game to call. Two underdog teams. One team that's struggling for form, that's in 10th place, and a team that is top of the table. And Drogheda United has been the talk of the town. They've been the team to be talked about. They're the underdogs that's talked about. And again, Drogheda do what they always do, is play quality football. They were 2 goals down. Saloga Rovers, were under pressure, and it's very difficult playing against Drogheda. Even playing at their home ground is very difficult because of the atmosphere and the crowd. The crowd there is just unbelievable there. But both teams are both fantastic. But Saloga has been struggling for form, and look, a point was a very valuable result at the end. But look, Drogheda is a team that will never back down from anyone or anybody. And I think it's going to be very interesting how long they can keep that winning momentum going. Even though they've conceded, a lot of goals, but not as much as I expect due to Connor Keeley's outstanding form at the back, even though his contract is coming to an end at the end of the season. But, and then, of course, they've got James Taylor back as well and other players coming back from injury. So I think that's a massive boost for them. No matter what, they can be proud of. But as for Saloka Rovers, again, I think they need more quality added in the summer. They need to carry on backing John Russell and keep John Russell in the job. I mean, yeah, it would be very harsh to sack him. But again, I think I think a draw was the very valuable result for both Saloka and Drogheda.
No, this one I missed since I was already traveling. What I heard was there were two different games. First half, when Shamrock dominated, and then Cork tried to be in charge of the second half, and they did. And in fairness, they managed to equalize. Was it a fair understanding of the game?
It was a fair understanding of the game because Shamrock Rovers had more of the possession in the first half. They were the better team. Cork City failed to get going in the first half, and Shamrock Rovers do what they always do. Brilliant finish from Matt Healy, outstanding player who's been in wicked form this season since re-signing from the Belgian League. It's been a huge difference for Shamrock Rovers, and he's linked up very well with the likes of Dylan Watts, who's sadly out injured at the moment, and of course Danny Grant as well in that midfield. And they've been very massive encore and key players in that midfield. That's really dominated and getting and grinding out the results for Shamrock Rovers. But for Cork City, listen, it's been up and down for Cork City. They've got a striker, which obviously I think it took him a bit of a while to get going, and he got added into the team straight away. But like I said, I think a second striker is needed at your club. And I mean, look, Cork City were better in the second half than they were. And not only just that, I think they showed that they wasn't intimidated or they wasn't afraid of Shamrock Rovers and say, well, look, they're 1-0 down, but they'll still give hard working effort. And I think they showed the class of determination that they'll never backing down, even if they were a goal down. And then Kit Nelson does what he always does and scores. So it's a brilliant point for them. They might think that's 2 points dropped, but look. I think Cork City can be proud of getting a point against the champions, of course. And look, Shamrock Rovers, as I always say, are still favourites for the title. They just need to bring in a striker and bring in a winger, really.
Okay, so this was last Friday, but there was also action on Monday, and another last minute 3 points for both. This time in a very difficult ground in Galway.
Yeah, Bohemians, outstanding performance again from them. Getting the result done, getting the job done. Seeing outstanding performances of Tierney and Denvoy. And finally we get to see Mosey playing up front. That I was very when I saw him on the team sheet in the second half and he came on. I said, finally we're seeing Mosey play. Thank goodness for that. Honestly, I mean, but still, the experiment is still a failure, to be fair, despite he plays or not. But look, I think Bohemians deserved the win and they got the job done. And they proved once and for all that they can beat a team that has been on wicked form this season. And yeah, I think Galway United would be very, very disappointed that they didn't draw the game despite the chances they created. But one thing for sure, I think Bohemians are showing that they are the true underdogs and starting to gain form. And I think we're seeing the very best of Bohemians to come and Alan Reynolds as well.
Another last-minute victory, this time for Drogheda, who was still at the top of the table. And that was devastating. I was I was following the game on his live score. And I couldn't believe when I saw that Drogheda scored the penalty right before the final whistle.
Yeah, this was a very interesting game. Cork City, obviously, Cork City have always been at Droghed's number. They've always been beaten by Drogheda, and it's really kicking them where it hurts. But look, I think Drogheda is showing the true we are seeing the definite true underdogs of Drogheda this season. We're seeing outstanding performances from Warren Davis, who I highly rate in the League of Ireland this season. Always liked Warren Davis as a player. I think he's quality, and I think there'll be a lot of clubs looking at him in the summer. I would like to see Lincoln City have a look at of bringing Warren Davis into League One. But this game was for the calling. I think Cork City were the dominant side in the first half. But, look, Drogheda, I said it previously, it's not easy playing against them. It's not, when you've got informed players like Ryan Brennan, you've got Owen Lame, who's absolutely unstoppable at the moment. You've got Thomas Olowa, who's still trying to find his feet again and trying to bring that physical dominance again. It is very, very difficult to handle. But then you've got Warren Davis again, who's just killing it right now. Cork City, yes, they're struggling for form, and I think we have to kind of, like, if this carries on, I think they'll be fighting for relegation. But look, fantastic result again, still top of the table, and they're showing what a team that Drogheda can be.
Shamrock 2, Sligo nil. I think that was expected, at least given Shamrock form.
Yeah, this was an easy win for Shamrock Rovers going into this game. Sligo Rovers, a team that is, I said just now, not in great form at the moment. Best players, Jay Hickey and also Elgin. You expect Sligo to really shock Shamrock Rovers, but with the quality that Shamrock Rovers have, it's very difficult to stop at the moment, despite that they've got a few injuries in the team. And then the reliance of Michael Noonan is also another thing, who's really killing it. Josh Houlihan, obviously, I don't understand why the Irish national team is not looking at bringing him in. There's possibly players in that Shamrock Rovers team. Graham Burke needs to be put in there because he's absolutely killing it at the age of 31. Some people say that he's past it, but no, he's not. He's showing the quality that we expect him to do. But yeah, I think, of course, this was a very, very good game and a good game for the calling. But listen, I think, fantastic result for Shamrock Rovers, and they're really starting to get back their amazing form.
Another away game for Waterford and another victory. And again in Dublin, and this time against the current champion, Shelbourne nil, Waterford 1.
Listen, don't get me started on this game. Honestly, I watched this game yesterday, and I saw the way Shelbourne was playing, and it was just not right of Shelbourne. We're talking about Shelbourne Football Club. We're talking about Damien Duff. We're talking about a manager that has a fantastic winning mentality, a style of play that has never been done and has never been dominated in the League of Ireland. We're talking about a manager that has brought players like Ellis Chapman, Daniel Kelly, and Ryan O'Kane, Oda Becco into this team. Still had faith and belief in Sean Boyd, despite that I questioned them last season of where they were and how I expected them. They beat the odds last season and won the title and ended their 15-year wait last season. Now, obviously, their objective is to retain the League of Ireland title. Now they go on and do this. Now you see Waterford came up with a plan, and the plan was to go in and shock Shelbourne, and they did. And obviously, this is why I said Matt Lawler, honestly, interim manager after taking over Keith Long, who got the sack after 6 defeats throughout this whole season, and the reason why Waterford was struggling to get their form. Right? This is Waterford we're talking about. We're talking about Waterford FC, who are trying to find a new manager. We all expected them to go in and get Stephen Rice in. It didn't happen. They expected to go and get Roderick Higgins. I didn't want Roderick Higgins because Roderick Higgins didn't do a fantastic job with Derry City in the second half of the season. He failed to get them to go and challenge and possibly go on and win the League of Ireland title and go on and lose to Drogheda in the FAI Cup final and couldn't know his starting 11. He would have done the same thing for Waterford. Now that John Coleman is coming in now and is now the official manager, has just added their assistant manager now to the fold, Vincent Road. Honestly, brilliant addition being made to the team. We're talking about a manager that has managed in the League of Ireland before in 2014 with Saloga Rovers, who's had EFL experience in League 2 and League 1. With the likes of Gillingham, Rochdale, and of course Accrington Stanley. I think what would be very interesting is his Liverpudlian accent. Please don't get me wrong. I'm looking forward to that. Not because it's Liverpool FC, no. But as I say, look, John Coleman is going to bring a lot of experience. This is his 1200 of management, being a manager again. I think what he's going to do is get the best out of Waterford. He is basically going to go on and really turn them into a team that has never been turned before. You've got informed players like Tom Lonergan, who's completely running the show. You've got Alman, because both of them have got 5 goal contributions, both of them in 12 matches this season. So he'll get the best out of them and help them to be a team that no one doesn't want to be playing against. But it'll be very interesting to see how you'll line them up. And, the players are showing John Coleman what they're going to be like under him and how he's going to adapt to them. He will know from his experiences in the League of Ireland, so he will know the League of Ireland much more. But Shelburne, Shelburne is not in the best of form right now. And then you've got him and obviously Stephen Bradley is going at loggerheads. Both of them basically didn't shake each other's hands. He's got something to say about him, and Duff has got something to say about Bradley. But Shelburne's performances haven't been good enough, Victor. You can clearly see the reaction on the players' faces. Like there's something not right. Like we all expected it to be Odebeko and Boyd. We are supposed to see Sean Boyd playing up front with Odebeko and Harry Wood as a 3. Even if he doesn't want to play a 3, but he can play as a 2. He can play 2 up front. And so, you know what? Put Boyd up front. Play him with Odebeko. We're not seeing Sean Boyd in the starting lineup. We're seeing him on the bench. Why is he on the bench? Why are you having Sean Boyd on the bench? Sean Boyd is supposed to be in the starting 11. He's supposed to be in the starting 11, Victor. And I don't understand why he's not in the starting 11. So it's kind of like a kick in the foot, really, to be fair. Do you know what I mean? So it's crazy. But look, the result for Waterford really shows that they're going to be a very, very good side. And, I don't think nobody would be able to look at Waterford and say, I think there's a serious improvement going about.
Okay, one last game from Monday, and that's another happy outcome for Derry, beating St. Patrick's, one of the title contenders.
Yeah, this was an absolute shock. I watched the game yesterday on the highlights on YouTube. I thought Derry City were a better team, despite that Jake Mullaney had his goal disallowed. Zebedee had a chance. We're still not seeing the performances from Mason Menia. We're expecting Mason Menia to score the goals. Aidan McKinnon is back. I do expect Aidan McKinnon to get back his form again like he did before his injury. But listen, Derry City are on fire right now, and it's a bit too late to say if they're title contenders or not. But I do believe that I think they're starting to find their form and they're starting to do what they always do. So, an amazing win for Derry City. And I think, we're seeing the very best of Derry City and Tian Lynch.
So as it stands, just in terms of the table, I had a look at it yesterday. There are only 6 points difference between the first and the 8th, which is amazing. Like, you don't see that anywhere else. What do you make of this, of how much competitive is the League of Ireland these days?
Well, these days, the League of Ireland is starting to be extremely competitive now, where it's starting to get exciting now, especially with Drogheda being top of the table. St. Pat's obviously trying to get back into finding a way to be title contenders. I still believe they can be, especially with the form that they're in, despite that they haven't had the best of form away from home. 7 points from 7 trips, which is not very good, despite that they've won twice at Richmond Park. So it's kind of like asking questions of St. Patrick's, especially for their away form. At home they're unstoppable, and I would like them to really take that home form and put that into the away games. Drogheda, outstanding performances from them. I think they are serious contenders for the title, despite that I think they've shown what underdog team that they can be. Shelburne, again, when are we going to see Shelburne get back to their best? When are we going to see Damien Duff really dominate the League of Ireland once again? Shamrock Rovers, another team who I do believe is title contenders, just like Shelburne, just like St. Pat's. They are absolutely one to watch out for. You've got informed players of Matt Healy. You got Danny Grant again. Adam Matthews is back from injury now. You've got Mandroy who's back. Obviously, I think once Dylan Watts comes back into it and other players, I think they'll be fine. They still need another striker, even though they're closing in on a striker and they've just signed one, John Lonergan from the other league, from a different league. I think that's going to be very interesting, even though I think they need more than that. I think if they can bring in maybe an Ofalabi into the fold, then I think they'll definitely be. I think they'll still be title contenders, but we still got to see the quality, the outstanding quality from them, and bringing a few new faces for them and Stephen Bradley. Galway United, another team, is on fire right now. Victor Moses Dyer, a player who's in red hot form right now. 8 goals this season. There's got a player that's got the most goals and assists. He's got 8 goals, and Byrne and Elding and Warren Davis have got 7 assists this season, and they're really on fire. They're really on fire this season. But look, Moses Dyer has really adapted very well to the League of Ireland since coming from the Canadian League, because it's not easy coming from a different league. So we're seeing the very best of Moses Dyer, and absolutely Moses Dyer is just going to start scoring goals for fun, and he's going to be so key to Galway United. So I'm very, very pleased to see Galway United absolutely on form. Waterford FC, I think they're going to be something else under John Coleman. I've said it most times. I think John Coleman is going to get the best out of them. He's going to help them to be a team that will compete for European places along with Galway United. He'll pull them. Obviously, Matt Lawler has done an exceptional job, to get 3 wins since being interim manager, and now passing the reins to John Coleman, and bringing his experiences from the League of Ireland and from the Football League as well, in the EFL as well, in League One and League Two as well. I think he'll bring that, and I think we're going to see a huge dominance from the 63-year-old. So this is looking very, very interesting couple of weeks, and then we've got more derbies coming as well, in the League of Ireland. So I'm looking forward to the League of Ireland, but it's been very, very competitive this season, and we're seeing some huge shocks and huge twists and turns. So it can go either way.
Yeah, the other 2 teams that are on the mix, and we haven't really referred them that much, is Bows and Derry. How much do you think they can aspire, realistically speaking?
I think Derry City, are a very good side. Please do not get me wrong, Victor. They are a very good side. I think they've got a very good manager like Tia Lynch, but I think they need that sort of optimism and that sort of belief to really believe that they can go on and really get results in. We're finally seeing the best of Liam Boyce. I still believe that I want to see more of the players, and I think the togetherness as well, I think, is very important as well. As for Bows, I think Bohemians can carry on the confidence that they deserve. I think they can really be up there this season, and I think if they just need to carry on that positive form that they deserve to do. And I think if they can do that, then I think they'll be all right. But look, I think both teams just need some confidence boost, and I think going into the other games that they've got coming up, I think they'll get that confidence.
Right. Now, just briefly on the first division. So, from what I could see, online, Kerry FC, they just changed managers, so they sign up Colin Henley, which is very known in my team in Cork City. And also, I would like to highlight that Bray were finally stopped in Cove, although they almost managed to secure the 3 points, if not the draw. So, is there anything else you want to highlight or about on the first division?
I think the only things I'd like to highlight is obviously Kerry FC have a brand new manager now. Obviously I think Kerry FC need to get back their best form and get back to being their best. Kolb Ramblers, a team that that's highly rated, and I think they'll be contenders for Dundalk this season. Definitely Treaty United, I think, deserve to get some confidence back, despite that Lee Durrett is their top scorer this season. Again, Bray Wanderers, in wicked form as well, not to be underestimated this season. But Dundalk are just on fire right now. They are a team that just can't be stopped right now, Victor. And I think the way that Kieran has set them up now, I think, is outstanding. And I think he's got them to be real huge contenders for the First Division League of Ireland title. Bringing young youths out of the equation is not easy, especially when you've got that youth academy and you've got huge talents in there who can really go and pursue their careers for years to come and seasons to come. I think they've got huge potential to be very special, and I think if they can carry on and do what they do, I think they've got a huge chance. So I think Dundalk will still go on and win the First Division. I think Bray Wanderers will definitely be the contenders to challenge Dundalk as well. I think Kerry FC will still be up there still, just like Cove Ramblers will be up there, Bray Wanderers will be up there. But let's not underestimate Wexford FC as well, who are also in decent form. But I think Kerry FC, especially with their brand new manager, I think they'll definitely be up there this season.
Right, now let's preview the upcoming games happening tomorrow. Not tomorrow. Today's not Thursday, because we should do this on Thursday, so I think it's tomorrow. No, in 3 days time. Apologies, just a strength of habit here. So Cork Derby, I think it's a massive game for both teams.
Yeah, it's a massive game for both teams. Obviously, Daniels is in wicked form right now. 2 goals this season. Absolutely on fire. He's definitely one, I think, that's really starting to adapt. And I think you guys have to really find a way of getting him on a permanent and definitely getting another striker to link up with Daniels, because if Cork City do not sign him permanently, I think your Cork City is gonna struggle. And I think obviously I think they're lacking confidence, and I think they can take the confidence that they took and really take that into the Derry City game on Thursday coming. So I think this will be a very interesting game. Derry City again, still obviously finding their form already. I wouldn't underestimate Cork City right now, but it wouldn't be surprising if this ends up in a draw. So I think it would be nice to see Cork City win. I would love it. I still would love to see Cork City do the impossible dream over Derry City, but I can definitely see Derry City probably getting a win, but it wouldn't be surprising if we see another draw.
Then we also have a Dublin Derby, which I think is key for Shelbourne given the last results.
It is key, Victor. It's very, very key, and it's very important. Damien Duff doesn't need to be worrying about Stephen Bradley. Yes, Stephen Bradley didn't shake Duran. Yes, maybe Stephen Bradley could have offered Damien Duff respect. Maybe Stephen Bradley could have stopped speaking about and running his mouth about Damien Duff. Maybe could have done that. But don't worry about Shamrock Rovers. Don't worry about Stephen Bradley. Damien Duff needs to do his thing, Bradley. Needs to do his thing, Victor, right? He needs to kind of just worry about getting the result, getting 3 points, making sure that he wins the Dublin Derby against St. Pat's, because obviously St. Pat's are getting back their form. Obviously, we haven't seen the form of Aidan McKinnon yet, because Aidan McKinnon's just come back from an injury. So I still believe he'll score goals. Yes, it'll be very difficult to catch Moses Dyer of Galway United, because he's got 8 goals this season, and obviously Aidan McKinnon's only got 5 goals this season. But for me, with all due respect, this game is a must-win for Shelburne. Shelburne cannot go on and lose this game to St. Pat's, because if they lose this game to St. Pat's, serious questions are going to be asked about Shelburne. You can't go into certain games and say, oh, well, you need to go in there with a winning mentality. That's what I want to see Shelburne doing. I want to see them going with a winning mentality. I want to see them showing that they really want to be challenging for the League of Ireland title and retain it, and win it again for a 9th time. That's what I want to see. I want to see Damien Duffy's head not be just focusing on Stephen Bradley, not just focusing on Shamrock Rovers and building a rivalry with Stephen Bradley. I don't want him to be worried about that. I want him to worry about getting the result and playing much better, keeping hold of the lead, and really learning to go on and get the job done. As for St. Pat's, they are ones that are need to get back in their form as well too. I think Aidan McKinnon will still be up there with the top scorers, along with the Moses Dyers and so on. But they have to find a way to get the best out of Mason Melia. Mason Melia is heading to Tottenham next year in 26. So he has to show the expectations of what Tottenham is going to be looking forward to. We need to see the very best of Aidan McKinnon. So it wouldn't be surprising that Shelburne wins this game. But if Shelburne don't get their heads in the game, I think St. Pat's will turn it round. So it wouldn't be surprising.
Now, another one that is very hard to predict. Waterford in great form, but they cannot underestimate Galway.
No, Victor, we can't right now. You got informed players like Moses Dyer, 8 goals this season in 11 matches this season, outstanding form this season. Who's got the most combined goals and assists this season. We're talking about Moses Dyer, who's been on wicked form for Galway United. He's been an absolute key player this season. Right now we're seeing the very best of Moses Dyer right now. Cannot be underestimated right now. So it wouldn't be surprising if Galway United go on and try and win this game. And I think if they can carry on and get 3 points right now, I think Galway United are definitely going to be ones to watch out for. And they're showing that this season. They're showing the quality. They're showing, you see in the likes of Bobby Burns, completely, who's been completely overlooked this season. And we're always looking at other quality players, but we need to be looking at Bobby Burns of Galway United and, really bigging him up because of his quality that he's been showing this season. Patrick Hickey, say no more about Patrick Hickey. Patrick Hickey's been on an amazing form this season again. But Moses Dyer is just going to be very difficult to stop. So it wouldn't be surprising if Galway United get the win on this one.
Shamrock, Drogheda, probably one of the 2 top teams in the current League of Ireland. Any prediction for this one, or it's very hard to say?
It's very hard to say because Drogheda are top of the table and Shamrock Rovers are only just a point behind, obviously. And I mean, obviously a win will probably take, Shamrock Rovers top of the table. If Drogheda win, they'll remain top of the table. It's so difficult to call because both teams are good and both teams are fantastic. But, Drogheda is just on form right now. Shamrock Rovers obviously is going through a bit of a stir as well, especially with what's going on with them. Even though they're in wicked form this season, I think they're not to be underestimated at all. But Drogheda obviously, I think, will know what Shamrock Rovers are about and what quality they possess. But again, I think this one could be a draw. But I'm not underestimating Drogheda at all in winning this game against Shamrock Rovers. So I won't rule them out just yet.
And last, not least, Sligo Bohemians. Can Sligo secure 3 points? They badly need a victory at this point.
Sligo Rovers need to find a way to win. It's simple as that. John Russell needs to carry on believing in the players, and the Sligo Rovers fans need to go on and back him and really show the class and the quality that we haven't seen and what we've been missing right now. The fact of the matter is that Bohemians will want to go into this game believing. They want to make sure that they are winning this day. They want to go on and win this game and get a result. The previous game, they showed their class and their quality. Yes, they lost the other previous game, but they're really getting back to what we expect them to be, and that is grinding out results and having quality players like Teeny in the team, of Denvoy in the team, of course. We're seeing the little emergencies of Mose, of course. Obviously Whelan is starting to be a little bit quiet, so I would expect Whelan to try and get on the goals more, and so we're seeing that. But honestly, I think this is a must win for Sligo Rovers and for John Russell, especially with the summer coming up as well, for him to really look at this squad and really try and get some quality players into Sligo. So I would like to see Sligo win, but for me, it wouldn't be surprising if Bohemians go on and shock Sligo again.
So a lot of excitement for the next few days and for the next few weeks and for the rest of the season. I think it's so hard to anticipate who's going to be the winner or will be happy at the end of the season. It's just impossible. There's so much quality, so much skills on the pitch that we just feel entertained all the time, which is great. So Sligo Farmland is going the right direction. We're enjoying presenting you guys with these conversations around what's going on in the game and around the game. So we'll be back on Thursday, as we were doing previously. And Cornell, I will be here waiting for you, and I want to appreciate again your flexibility on the last 2 weeks.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
So for you guys, if you have enjoyed this, I will be kindly ask you for a thumbs up. If you know someone who's in Sligo Farmland that hasn't watched us, it would be great if you can share. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, that's also a great way to express satisfaction. So I see each other next Thursday. So not in 2 days' time, but next Thursday, and we will carry on as we were doing in the past. So all the best, guys. Take care. Cheers.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a nice day. Bye. Bye. Bye.
Bye.